A brand new adventure, a brand new series. We're back, even though we haven't quite finished the French series, and this time we're forced into motorhome living for the next few months because of my silly mistake, which turned into my silly experiment. Well, at least the weather's good, so join us in our little update video in rural Hampshire at a beautiful bargain campsite on the longest day of the year as we talk through what the dickens we've been doing all year. Hello.
Good evening.
Look at me with my piece of paper. I'm going to put it down on the floor.
That's our
set
list.
Crib sheet, so I don't forget stuff.
So have we called this video Life Update?
It is a kind of life update, I suppose. And we're in Denmead.
Yes, so nowhere exotic this time. Today is the summer solstice, and so we thought we'd sit here with the sun going down behind us and give you a rundown of what we've been doing since we came back from France last September.
Okay, so what's number one on the agenda? So why haven't we been travelling, vlogging this year? Hang on a minute, this adventure didn't start in the middle of a rural idyll, it started on my parents' driveway, not far down the road. And after a day of frantic cleaning, emptying the house and throwing what we needed for the week into Stampede. Here we go again. It's been a long time since the morning walks. Well, luckily I know this area fairly well because I grew up near here. It's quite surreal actually camping around the corner from your own house. It's quite comforting really. It's really peaceful, and after the stress of yesterday and getting everything ready in the house and the masses of cleaning and the masses of putting away and feeling like it was just the most relentless task, just actually making it to the motorhome and having an overnighter, that feeling of calm is indescribable. It's really lovely. After a day of work and the usual home ed, a kayaking trip with Boys Brigade for one child and a Fort Purbrick activity visit for another, it was time for all of us to kick back and relax, and that includes Sammy, whose walks tend to double when he's in the motorhome. After some dinner, one child stayed with the grandparents in the lap of luxury, well, he describes it like a hotel, whereas the rest of us trundled 5 minutes down the road. This was our home for the next 3 nights, Pitt Hill Campsite, a camping and caravanning certified site which can be accessed via some hair-raisingly narrow country lanes frequented by giant farming machinery, not for the faint-hearted. This place was fantastic for Sammy, with country lanes and footpaths in every direction, but we'd heard rumours of a vicious territorial bully called Dave the Pheasant. He chased Indy down the road and nipped his ankles when he'd walked back to the motorhome the following day, and it would only be a matter of time before he struck again. On an evening walk, Daz was lucky enough to see an owl in flight, scouting a field over and over again for its prey. It was silent and majestic, and it's moments like this we wish we had better equipment to capture the detail. Still, you get the idea.
It's late in the day, but we found him. We found Dave, the pheasant. He's just up there. Excuse the bag. He chased Bee just now. So let's see what he makes of us. Oh, Dave. Right, well there you have it, conclusive proof. Dave is not afraid of a great big lump of metal and 4 wheels, but he is a Sammy.
As the sun set, we really got the sense that this trip we'd almost been dreading because of various reasons was in fact a tonic, and how being in nature can really improve your state of mind. Well, that is not a bad view to wake up to. I think Sammy and I are going to enjoy our walk out there this morning. Aren't we, Sambo? Yeah. We're going to have a good walk. We are, aren't we? He's a good boy.
Well, it's the first morning of our first stay at this certified site not far from where we live in the South Downs. And it's wonderful. You feel a million miles away. The only problem we had this morning, our sleep was perfect. The kids had loads of fun outside on the grass till late. But where Stampy hasn't been anywhere recently, and the boys have been using their machines and laptops and plugging into the 12-volt sockets, we had drained Stampy's leisure battery. So about 30 seconds into Bee's shower this morning, which should have been a lovely experience, everything died. Thankfully, this is where the all-power station comes in useful. Glad I brought that along. We've been able to power Stampy off of the battery via the main socket in the side of the van. So that's brilliant. The sun is out. There's spaces around me where I can actually pop the solar panels out, so whatever we use in this battery today, we're likely to be able to put it back in. So I noticed the all-power station was working quite hard for us for some reason. I was thinking there's nothing on inside, we've just using the water pump and the lights. But of course Stampy is recharging the leisure battery off of this battery. So although the timer on there said it could survive for about 3 hours powering whatever it was powering, actually it's charging up the leisure battery in there, and then this will be dead. So while it's sunny at least, why not pull out all the solar panels to charge this battery, which then charges the leisure battery.
Here we go. Well, we're just outside our campsite. And by the way, even though we're in this rural idyll, there is a fantastic internet connection. There are bins, there is waste, there's fresh water. And apparently, according to Dave, the wonderful farmer who came to chat to us for about 10 minutes yesterday, when people come over and stay here for an overnighter before they catch a ferry, which is apparently a popular option, which is why people use our house actually on Airbnb, this is one of the major appeals, having this strip of grass down the middle of the road. And lovely Dave said the reason why the grass grows in the middle of the road is because the council just don't come down here to clear it. This is the perfect weather for drying your clothes in. It's very windy, but it's sunny. It's not even 8 o'clock in the morning and I had such a good night's sleep last night, even though the hay fever was driving me mad. Oh, I can't wait to come back here. Windswept, interesting, no makeup as usual. It wouldn't be a walk with Bee without a certain amount of dishevelled appearances. I don't know if any of you guys watched Richard Frank's comedy. He sort of made himself on Instagram and on Facebook because he plays this character called Mum, and it obviously resonates with me because I'm in the thick of that sort of thing at the moment, and he does this hilarious skit where he's walking around the countryside as Mum, doing all the typical things that a mum might do in the half term with her kids, even though it's cold and unpleasant, and it does make me laugh a huge amount. And one of the things that features in this sketch, everyone that walks past says hello to you and has a conversation, and that's essentially what I've experienced this morning. Every person I've passed walking with a dog has asked how I am, said hello, and in this sketch from Mum, she gets so fed up with all the hello she ends up telling the last person who says hello to her to sod off. And the lovely houses that are surrounding here. I saw this beautiful house with a shouty dog as shouted at us when we went past, and then shouted at us again when we realised the path was a bit boggy and we couldn't get down there. And I saw this lovely gentleman, and he was walking the dog that had shouted at us, and he was a tri-paw, so he was hobbling along, didn't bark at us this time, but it was nice to see the owner, so lovely and friendly. But the owner was obviously living in this grand house that had sprawling fields all around it. So I felt like saying to him, God, I like your house. Can we pop in for a cuppa and use your toilet? So what's number one on the agenda? So why haven't we been travelling, vlogging this year? Okay, so excuses. And probably the main reason is because a couple of our children have come of age. They've got all big and gangly and smelly.
Hungry.
They just eat so much food. And one in particular is a little bit against motorhoming, but also he's been doing some more GCSEs this year, which means that we've been doing face-to-face classes, we've been doing lots of stuff that requires us to be in a certain place. So yeah, that's one of the reasons we haven't been able to do that much travelling.
I think in his own words, he's got PTSD from motorhoming, but he also missed his friends, and he missed his drumming, and he missed his VR. So he did well to last 3 months, but he's also enjoyed being back home. So also, of course, we were doing so much when we were in France. B in particular, I was working a lot of the time, but you could film enough interesting stuff in a day that by the time we came back, one day's visits took a week of our spare time to edit and put together. So we worked out in December, because we realised it was taking such a long time, we worked out in December the amount of days we got left that we had film for would take us around to about April, and it's now June. So we're not doing very well, but it's ever so hard. We do try and put a lot of effort into our videos. Sometimes it might not look like it if it's a 10-minute or a 15-minute, but we have to watch a lot of footage and cut it down to just get those really good bits.
Yeah, and we tend to be busy in the week as well. I'm always out and about doing various classes and doing a really decent home ed day for the boys. Daz is working full time, which means it's weekends and evenings only to edit. And sometimes you don't feel like doing it at the weekend.
No, it was, and then also when we came back, of course, we came back with some bumps and bruises. So Stampy had lost one of its rear seat belts. There was the palaver with the bin bag windows. There was the embarrassing makeshift wing mirror that we had when we left. And so all those things have been taken care of bit by bit. We sourced a new wing mirror, we fitted that, and we'll show that being fitted.
Daz has filmed all of that. Yay.
Yeah, we did. We were filming stuff. This is the thing, we kept sort of filming bits and bobs, but it was just squeezing in all this French stuff. And the window I'm looking at now over there, nice and shiny, that was quite a trip to get that sorted. But it's done. Expensive, but done. And then there was the seatbelt, which took all of about 5 minutes and a purchase from eBay. Obviously, there was a big, deep clean as well. There was a proper forensic clean.
Oh, yeah, it was grim.
Yeah, and so Stampy also then became, because when we got back, our sort of people carrier was off-road. It needed clutch, dual mass firewall, lots of things. It went into the garage for about 3 months.
Yeah.
And in that period, Stampy became the runaround. So I was driving our great big 7.5 metre long, 3 metre high motorhome into Asda car parks, into community centre car parks. So Stampy has been busy, but there also came a point where the insurance and the tax for the new year was due, and we weren't feeling particularly cash rich, having spent quite a lot of money, several £1,000s, having our other car put back on the road. So for the last month, Stampy has had a holiday and has sat on our driveway, sawn and tax free.
Yeah.
And but he's now taxed and insured for another year.
Well, thanks to what has sort of accidentally happened. So, yeah, this is the story. So in France last year, I think it was probably around June, maybe July time, I was getting messages through and instant bookings through for Airbnb and thinking, oh, this is great. And then I got a message from somebody who had instantly booked, and they said, oh, we're looking forward to this event that's taking place at Goodwood. And I'm thinking, that's already taken place. I don't quite get that. And then I realised slowly, it dawned on me that I'd left the Airbnb bookings open for the following year. Now, I'm a real novice at Airbnb. I've never used the app before, so I was learning as I was booking all these things in and sorting out pricing and all that sort of stuff and finding cleaners and paying cleaners. I was so delighted that we actually got through an entire summer where every person that arrived at our house arrived at a clean house. But yeah, I didn't realise that Airbnb would give you a maximum of 6 months where you could block out bookings, and then suddenly they were open again. So I had no idea that after the 6 months that I put into place, suddenly the following summer was free for anyone to book. So initially I just looked at it and thought, I'll deal with that later. And then I just thought, well, I wonder if I leave a few weeks open, let's see what happens. And then it kind of got out of control. And I was talking to Daz about it.
It's like, ooh, more bookings.
Oh, more bookings. Could we do it again? But because we're not planning any travelling this year, just because of money, really. It's all very tight, like everybody's money is tight.
I would say, though, that back when these things were going through the end of last year, this felt like such a long way off. Like, yeah, we'll go away, we'll do some stuff, maybe we'll stay in the UK this time.
Yeah, we did plan actually to do a little jaunt all the way around the UK, make it up to Scotland and back again. But yeah, unfortunately, one of the teenagers was not up for that at all.
No, and actually, I've got to say, like, what we have managed to do, besides repair Stampy and accept bookings, is we managed to go, a friend of mine had a big birthday party bash in Whitstable, so we headed to Whitstable, just being nice, sans kids.
Oh, it was lovely.
Without kids, it was lovely, yeah.
Well, this is all kinds of crap.
We've vlogged a bit of that because that's a beautiful town we've been to with the kids and now without the kids. And then just recently there was another family
Yeah, we went to
celebration.
Swanage. Yeah, we went to Swanage for 5 days. That was really nice. It was in sort of honour of my mum's 70th birthday, and it's one of her favourite places. So we had a nice 5-day run with family, and Stampy did a great job. It was a bit snug because everybody's grown a little bit, and the greyhound is obviously the size of a horse. So yeah, we managed it okay.
So the plans to do something amazing didn't quite come together. Part of the problem with the Airbnb is that we don't mind if people do overnighters, but of course that means we can't go very far because we're also doing, I should say we, the royal we're doing the house cleaning the next day, right?
I've noticed I'm drinking more than Daz. I'm just sat here letting him talk and I'm drinking.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So well, she deserves it today.
Well, I did my first Airbnb clean today. So last year I was paying the lovely ladies that went in and cleaned our house each time there was a changeover. Today, 2 children and a dog came with me to my house to clean. So they sat at the table and did their home ed, whereas I, in the footage that I'm going to show you right now, was Mrs. Mob and was trying to sort of teach an 8-year-old perimeter at the same time as scrubbing other people's interesting marks off my bathroom. Right, I'm back at home. The boys are in an online comic club. I've got some cleaning to do. It's time to strip the beds and get the washing machine on. I can be an Airbnb cleaner. I mean, I've cleaned my own house before. I've got to make sure it's really clean. Watering the plants. Stripping beds. Emptying dishwashers. Someone is enjoying being at home just for a little bit. Come on, Sammy, you're slacking. Hanging the washing on the line. Dusting. Making beds. Oh, Sammy, we finished cleaning. That just took 4 hours and 15 minutes. I've got to get faster at this, especially when I've got loads of other things to do in the day. In fact, I'm going to start trying to train myself and get personal best and see how quickly I can turn around a property. It's got to be better than 4¼ hours. That was tough. And getting Sammy out at the end and then making sure there was no evidence of a dog ever living there, that was tough too. But I did it. I'm quite proud of myself. So yes, the carver is definitely well deserved today.
Yes, so for a lot of these bookings, the money's great if it also pays me to sort of do this hard work because when Stampy was running, he was useful as a mobile office for me too, as well as the run around. And then it's been great being home and sort of feeling like we're really grounded as well and having our friends around again. And this first week away has been quite unsettling because we haven't packed Stampy as well as we possibly should have. Frustratingly, our house is around the corner, but we have no access to it when people are there. But the money side of it is great because the first 7 nights that people stay will cover the cost of Stampy's insurance and road tax for the entire year. So that's kind of worth it when you think about it. And then anything above that is a bonus that hopefully we can use when we do finally go away. Now there are, I think, 3 bookings which are about 4 or 5 days long, which are our chances to escape properly.
Well, there's actually like a 7-day booking later on in the summer, and there's a couple of 6-day ones. So we are thinking some adventures. Where shall we go? Where it's easy to drive to, where it's not too stressful, where we can see some beautiful places. Because I tell you what, we have been on such an emotional roller coaster the last few months that you guys wouldn't have had any idea about either. We've had our house on the market and we are looking for a beautiful character property. We did fall in love with a house in a beautiful town where our children can get their home ed exams. It is a conservation area. It's got loads of Georgian properties. It's got loads of chocolate box cottages. And I am down for both of those things. I know they're both very different, but I'm down for both of those things. So back in September, I'm walking my children through this village and I see this house and it is beautiful. It is symmetrical. It's a bit Bridgerton-esque, but it's in a terrible state of disrepair. Every window, every sash window is sealed shut and broken. The pulleys are broken. There's smashed windows. There's damp. There's rot. There's roof issues. So we went to view it. Daz went to view it. We all started to slowly fall in love with it. Daz was driving the motorhome to our 14-year-old's classes each week, using it as a mobile office. He started to fall in love with the village, and we're like, we love this place. That beautiful Georgian house went. And we all were heartbroken. It was a heartbreaking time because even Daz was, and he's got a heart of stone. So.
And also, it's grade 2 listed, and there's me thinking, I'll do stuff. And I have no idea what we were letting ourselves into. In another way, it might have been a blessing, but I can't help feeling like I would have just lived in a ramshackle, to be honest.
Yeah.
Haven't seen enough castles and ruins in France, any of those, be
that
fine.
was on the cards, and I know some of you have said, oh, we'd love to watch you doing up an old castle. Yeah, that was the dream, to go and buy a ramshackle castle in France.
It might still happen. And we're on a small caravan camping.
Camping and
CCC.
caravanning.
This is why I just call it CCC. Camping and Caravanning
cooking.
Club. It's the Camping and
Cuckolding
Caravanning
and
Club site. It's a
cuckoo
CS
site.
site.
Sorry.
It's a certified site. Keep talking.
I'm just
It's a
thinking of things
certified
beginning
site.
with C.
Cabbage.
Cabbage. Oh no, that's rude. Stop it.
I'll have to
Karaoke.
I'll have to beat
Yes,
that
beat
out.
that out. Yeah.
So it's a small little circular bit of field with lots of trees. It's tree lined around the outside too.
It's £6 a night.
Yes, there's water.
£6 a night.
There's no shower block. There's no toilet block, but there is waste. There's water for cutlery and utensils, and there's drinking water on site. So as long as you've got your own
septic
toilet.
tank.
Yes, that's what I mean. Sort of by waste.
Yeah.
Toilet waste. So as long as you've got sort of your own sort of toilet facilities, then the rest of it really is here. And there's sheep in the field over yonder.
Over yonder.
There is Dave the pheasant, who you'll see.
Let's show you Dave the pheasant now. He is an absolute menace to society. There are wanted posters around for this creature. He's dangerous. Hi, Dave. Yeah? And do they treat you well here? Do they treat you well here, Dave? Interesting reaction.
Oh yeah. Run, I say. Run.
Okay.
So there you go. Wasn't he a nightmare?
That's Dave. But
That was Dave.
Another Dave the farmer who
Dave the
owns his
farmer.
land and has lived here since 1968, I think he told us.
Mm-hmm.
Very kindly offered to let the boys feed the baby lambs this afternoon. So as well as the lovely dog walks you can do across what feels like the South Downs, although I'm not sure we're into the South Downs, are we?
No, we're not in the South
Not
Downs
quite.
yet, no.
We also went down to see his farm where he's got some retired pigs, he's got
Yeah, they're
a
just
field full of
pets.
sheep, and the boys had great fun feeding the lambs, which we'll also see now. So I've also been very kindly, I have to say, like occasionally we are contacted about whether we want, having done upgraded our dash cam or our front head unit, people have seen that and then they've asked me if I want to do another head unit. But to be honest, I don't think I want to keep repeating stuff. I'm just interested in new things. And so we do get sent occasionally odd emails for products or things for us to look at, and we don't go ahead with them. But I did let two through the net because they're relevant and amazing. Amazing to me. If you've watched some of our French stuff, you'll know that we tried out an e-bike in France. We hired one off of the campsite we were staying on, the Château de Marais campsite, very early on in our French trip.
Oh yeah, that was
we
really
hired
cool.
it, and we could only hire one, and we all had a go on it because I think we could only fit enough bikes on the back for everyone bar one person. And we always thought, well, one be all right, we'll jog along. We'll use that as an excuse to do some jogging. But actually, we hired a bike to go to the big Chambord, Château de
Chambord, that was amazing. Oh,
Chambord.
I love that day.
Actually.
Love that day.
I'll put a link in somewhere if I figure out how to do it.
If you could
Right
be
up there,
asked.
right above her, right on her face, to the Château de Chambord. And so we hired a bike, and everyone, especially my 14-year-old, absolutely loved it. And unbelievably, somebody messaged us and said, would you like to try one of our new bike out that's just come out? It's the latest version of a particular bike that's been around before. Of course, I said. So we have been playing with that bike for the last couple of weeks and filming some stuff. It's been really good fun, and hopefully that video will be of interest to other people out there too.
It will be a funny video as well. If I just say to you Gold Hill, you could probably see where this is going.
It's a secret. It's a secret twist to it. And then also a company called All Power's got in touch and said, seen your videos, would you be interested in trying out our solar powered power station? Now it's All Powers is not the one that the two brands that are out there that everybody seems to do reviews on. Have never spoken to us, but this company spoke to us, and actually looking on their website, checking out some of their reviews and what the products are like, this company looked pretty legit, looked pretty good, and I thought, well, I can find one or two uses for it. My God, I found about 10 uses for it. I didn't know I needed it so much, and on this little bit of patch of ground here. What happened was it yesterday you went to take a hot shower.
I went to take a shower. You know, I never get a hot shower. Somehow Daz has managed to weasel one in
I know,
on
but
this break, but I never get one.
What we didn't realise we were doing was by venting the windows, we were actually killing the switch for the hot water heater.
Who knew? Where's that in the manual?
We only figured
Where's
that
that
out
in the manual?
as we went north and it got colder and we shut the windows and suddenly the hot water worked. So
that's a bit of a quirk, don't you think?
Yeah. So
do you think that's in the manual?
The guy who sold it to me told me. I just
and
forgot
then you
about
just forgot for 3 months whilst
Yeah.
I needed a wash.
So the van battery, because it's not been driven anywhere, and we've literally driven 15 minutes, 20 minutes away from our house, hasn't been charged. So this power unit, the battery had quite a bit of power in it already. I just put on the 3-pin plug onto our normal external mains charger cable, plugged it into the battery thing, plugged it into the van, and boom, everything came back on, and our little power unit outside was powering the van and recharging the leisure battery at the same time. And I thought, well, there's only so much in there, it's all going to go into the van. But the sun was out and I bought the panels, so I whipped the panels out, connect the panels up, and just had infinite power from the sun. It was like amazing. I found lots of uses. Charging an e-bike is one thing, having it in the back of your car when you take your son to a lesson so that you could be in multiple back-to-back Zoom calls to keep your laptop alive, another thing. So loads of things, pumping up a paddleboard, lots of stuff I discovered actually this was amazing for. So, and I genuinely mean that.
Sammy's doing really, really well. He still hates having his toenails cut. He had a really nasty reaction to a flea collar. I've been hearing on the radio the advertising the Serestor collar. He actually had it in France last year, but we got a version off the internet, off eBay. So I don't know whether it was a little bit weaker, but he was tick-free and flea-free all through the summer last year. I went to Pets at Home to buy one because I thought actually £37, that's quite reasonably priced for protection all the way up to September. Within a few days, no, within 24 hours, he was vomiting in the garden repeatedly and he had a huge, great red rash on his neck. And so I whipped it off straight away, and obviously within a couple of hours, his symptoms had subsided and the neck then scabbed over and got better. So yeah, that was quite sad for Sammy, poor chap.
He still likes lying on his side for 90% of the time. He likes sniffing all the wee on all the leaves in all the streets.
Yeah, but he's still super chill.
Yeah.
He's definitely more sensitive than I think he was when we first got him. He's sensitive to sounds, to fireworks. He doesn't like big bangs.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like he has us nearly all the time. There's always somebody in the house. And when we leave him in the house, he tends to be quite chilled. He listens to talk radio. He's got lots of opinions on politics. He could tell you more about politics than me, I expect. But
You should hear which way he's voting.
yeah, I know it's controversial.
And the sun's
Okay,
nearly gone.
The sun is nearly gone on this longest day
Yeah.
of the year. That's quite
Well,
exciting.
Here's to an adventurous summer.
Yeah, here's to an adventurous summer. But I can't do cheers because I'm out.
Cheers. Well, I'm not. See ya.
Well, no sign of the... Oh, there's the squirrel. Oh, my goodness me. Yep, Sammy saw the squirrel. I'm going to say no sign of Dave the pheasant, but yeah, apparently a squirrel was there. Someone is very interested in the squirrel. Oh, gosh. You haven't chased a squirrel like that for months. Goodness me, that was too tempting. Well, good morning to you. And it was supposed to be 4 degrees cooler today. So I've got my long sleeve top on, trousers on. I'm not very good with the heat these days. I think it's because I don't really want to have my limbs, etc. exposed. It's more effort. I do love the sunshine though, and I love warmth. This really is very rural, very rural. We're surrounded by fields and one little track, as far as the eye can see really. So it is dead quiet. So I feel so refreshed after 3 nights here. 1 night on my parents' driveway, but 3 nights here. I think I've slept better than I ever have, and I'm going to bed earlier as well. And this morning, we just relaxed. It was really nice. Right after 3 lovely nights here, we are leaving this place, but I desperately want to come back. It's time to go back to our house, see if the Airbnb guests have left, and get on with our Friday. But we'll have our next escape in exactly a week's time. It's only a short one, but I'm not quite sure where we're going to stay yet.
So we're back at base, but unfortunately Stampy is still somewhere in a field in Hampshire. We brought our cars back, kids have gone off with B to a class, and I've been left stranded at home. However, not totally stranded. I have the Engray foldaway e-bike that I'm now going to use to take what, according to Google, is 5 miles across town and country with an ascent of about 200 feet at some point to go and pick Stampy up. Hopefully Stampy can accommodate the e-bike, and then we bring Stampy home before we get charged for another night's accommodation. Well, the bike is pretty cool, but just for added coolness, I'm going to do it in shades. Okay, so this is not a familiar path to me at all. Okay, way, yep. Oh Christ, there's a big pit. Okay, here comes some fun. Oh man, this is where the dual suspension comes in beautifully. If you're on the downhill or you're on the flats, sure, whack it up to 5 and see how fast you can go. I think I clocked about 40 kilometers an hour. I can't do the maths for miles an hour while I'm out, but it felt fast and it felt dangerous and exhilarating at the same time. The great thing is I can afford to get lost because it's not down to my energy, which is what I find is the big difference between the electric car, which nearly died coming back home today, and this bike, is that the car gives you range anxiety, especially on an old one like mine, all the time, and you can get used to it and you can plan ahead, but it's boring, right? It's boring planning ahead, and the guests in your car typically aren't used to it and don't like the signals when the car starts saying low charge, find somewhere to charge now, and you'll know when you're home. But you don't get that with an e-bike, do you? So the great thing about this e-bike is if it runs out of power, which it won't for 5 miles, the worst case is I just have to pedal and use my own power. So actually this might reinvigorate my love for cycling, because the South Downs are no longer a threat. In fact, there's something to go and have fun in. Right, whoa, nearly lost it. It's been quite difficult filming with one hand. Anyway, I'm here. I'm about 30 seconds away from the campsite. So now we can see if we can get the e-bike into the van and Stampy out of these tiny, tiny little lanes back home where he can rest up and recharge. Oh, hooray. There's a technique to it. Right, until the next time, let's get out of here. As ever, that's all for now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy our videos, please consider a like. And until our next escape, thanks for watching.